Good Sunday morning. I'm Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to this week's Community Focus. This morning, I'm joined by City of Toledo Housing Commissioner Tiffanie McNair. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course, now housing is a big issue in the city of Toledo. So I want to first get people familiar with your role with the city.
So I have been with the city just over 2.5 years now. I am the housing commissioner, as we stated previously. I work with Director Rosalind Clemens, Commissioner Benita Bonds to receive and administer the city's entitlement funds from our federal government. So those entitlement funds include things like Community Development Block Grant, Home, ESG, which is for Emergency Solutions Grant, and we may get some special funds. And some of the more recent special funds that we received were related to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we have Community Development Block Grant CV, we have Home ARP, which is American Rescue Plan. And just to piggyback off of that, we also have American Rescue Plan funds as well. So we receive all of those dollars within this department, where we have two divisions. One is housing, one is administrative services, and we have a team of a total of about 40 people that work to provide these services to our citizens.
And you talked about some of those federal dollars, but locally there's a program the city has, and it's a partnership with Maumee Valley Habitat for Humanity to repair homes in distressed neighborhoods. So kind of talk about how this partnership works.
So those two are federal dollars. So those are our home dollars and ARPA funds. And we have a long-running program for owner-occupied rehabilitation. That's for homeowners that are at or below 80% of the area median income. And when funds are available, we will receive applications, and we will work through that list of applicants that have completed. And we go in and we do anything from replacing the roof, installing new windows. If plumbing needs to be updated and brought up to code, that will occur as well. There may be a change out of doors, eaves, troughs, foundation work, whatever is allowable to keep that house up and going. And you're right, Maumee Valley is our partner. The partnership with Maumee Valley on this program has been for the last year and a half. And it's been very fruitful. We've also partnered with NeighborWorks Toledo region in the past, but more recently we've been working with Maumee Valley. And what Maumee Valley has been able to do is secure dollars from other funders, be it ProMedica, Owens Corning, or other private donors, public donors that they may have. And they've received that money, and sometimes directly by way of a connection through Representative Marcy Kaptur. They take all of those dollars, pool them together to leverage, and I don't know the different terminology that your audience is used to. So when I say leverage, it's taking the resources from multiple places, putting them together, and basically you're stretching everyone's dollar. So you are able to have a larger impact.
And while you can do a lot with American Rescue Plan Act dollars, there's this thing about ARPA dollars. They run out.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the future and continuing some of the work that's happening, what do you think that's going to look like?
Well, when those ARPA dollars came out, the Treasury Department and the federal government did advise local municipalities who were awardees of those funds not to create what they termed legacy projects or legacy programs, meaning don't take our money, use it towards something that you're going to always need to produce revenue to keep going. Use that money to truly invest in infrastructure, into things that are sustainable, so sustainability programs within your community. So the city of Toledo has really taken that advice to heart. And so our money that we have in our department for ARPA, we are doing more stabilization programming with those dollars, hence the owner-occupied rehabilitation program. And we also have a rooftops program. And that stability will allow those homeowners to stay in place.
I hinted at this at the beginning of the interview, which was that housing really is a conversation we seem to be having a lot in Toledo, whether we're talking about rental properties or about home ownership. So what are currently some challenges that you're facing in your role when it comes to housing?
So some of the challenges that we have here with the work that I do is we do receive requests or proposals from developers who want to develop housing in the city of Toledo. But some of our zoning laws are old or antiquated, and they only allow for a certain type of structure on land in certain neighborhoods. So there's a whole, back end work or behind the scenes work that has to happen to get the zoning updated to allow that. Another challenge is there are some neighborhoods where the zoning is ready, but there's what we call NIMBYism, not in my backyard. So overall, the community supports the development of affordable housing and making sure everything is okay. But there's some people that's like, yeah, you can do it anywhere but here. And so we try to work with folks. We understand that the concerns are there because of, I would say, some misinformation that they receive, or it's just some misunderstandings that they, is messaged to them through media. And no offense, I'm just saying some people don't try to get into informative media, which is what I appreciate that you do. And we also have challenges when it comes to our housing stock. So the city of Toledo has a housing stock where most of the homes are 80 to 100 years old. So that means trying to go in and retrofit those homes to make them compliant with our current codes and our current building standards. It costs so much more than it would at times to just do new construction. So again, it's almost a full circle because I come back to the zoning, and if the land is not zoned for a certain type of construction, it's just hard to make that happen.
And zoning is definitely a thing I don't think many people think about, including myself, is that in order to build something somewhere, there have to be certain requirements that are met. So definitely a challenge that you definitely have to think about when it comes to talking about this issue. So in terms of talking about the future, what are some other projects that we could see happening or initiatives happening with regard to housing?
So with housing, we have hired recently a tenant landlord manager, and the city of Toledo is getting closer to a 50% renters population, meaning almost half of the residents in Toledo will be renters very soon. So we do have ordinances on our local books to protect tenants, but we never had any real application or implementation of them. And we want to make sure that tenants and landlords are both protected and informed. So that's one thing that we're doing heading towards the future for housing. We have our lead safe ordinance. Like I mentioned, most of these homes are older, so there are sometimes some environmental hazards within the home with the lead-based paint, and we have funding and grants set up towards that, and we are working towards rolling out the enforcement of that over the next couple of years. And then our regular programming, like the owner-occupied, we also have down payment assistance. We have a rental development pool. We have some dollars left for rental rehab. That's for private landlords that want to update their homes.
Well, Housing Commissioner Tiffanie McNair, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jaden.
And that's this week's Community Focus. Have a great week.